Am I right that you have aphantasia?
Yes, I have aphantasia.
And what is that?
Aphantasia is when you have a lack of pictures in your mind. Like if somebody tells you to imagine a beach or a location, most people see a picture of that place, and I just see blackness. There's nothing there.
Am I right that you have aphantasia?
Yes, I have what would be um, I guess, considered visual aphantasia. No complete, like, no mind's eye, no closed eye visuals, no sort of imagining things visually.
So does that mean if I were to say to you, try and imagine an elephant, even though you know what an elephant is, and if you saw an elephant, you would recognize it, you can't form the picture of an elephant in your mind?
Correct.
I did not discover I even had this or it was even a thing until about a year and a half ago. I, so the concept, the idea of, imagine your happy place or thinking of counting sheep as you're going. I always thought that was like just a metaphor for cartoons or something, but it wasn't something you could actually do. So, yeah.
Okay, so if I were to say to you, can you picture in your mind a sheep? That's not something that you can do.
Not visually. I mean, I could describe what a sheep looked like.
When I was younger, I just thought that's what everybody's mind was like because I didn't have any other experience. And so a few years ago, I found some other people talking about the lack of pictures in their mind. And I was like, wait, other people do have pictures in their mind and we're different. Like there's a lack of pictures. And um, so I learned a little more about it.
And yet, you've had some experiences in my online meetings where you did, in your mind, receive visual images. Is that correct?
Yes, actually, 2 years ago, I was in one of your sessions that you were offering a remote viewing group sort of thing. Um, Not really expecting anything to happen, and then and then I started to see or get some shapes and some movements that were starting to pop up. Uh,
So, during that remote viewing activity, I was guiding people to a time and a place, and I had a photograph of that time and that place, but you didn't know what was on the photograph. You didn't know where we were going. Would you mind just describing what you started to see when we were doing that remote viewing?
I can actually even share the drawing. I found it last night when I was looking through my notes. So this was, yeah, we didn't know at the time what it was, and you basically just kind of mentally took us to the center of the image and then just kind of around the edges. In this particular session, what I perceived in my mind, I got sort of like a triangular shape of some kind of orange blob, and I got the sense of like dark purple or darkness around this thing. So in my mind, I'm thinking it's a pyramid or something because sort of the shape and everything. As you're going around the edge, I'm getting a sense of something that seemed like trees. Well, actually, in the middle of this whole thing, I did get a word in my head that just popped into my head, which said volcano. But I wrote it down with a question mark. And then the other interesting thing, which I've never really seen or happened before, is I start to see like these orange lights, like they're falling down, like across my closed eye vision, like just kind of a. But I'm noticing motion, and this orange bright color just kind of moving down top to bottom. And then as you're directing us to the foreground, I'm getting a sense there was something smooth, like smooth rocks, like river rocks that have been touched by water. And then you came through and you're like, oh, this was the eruption of some Indonesian volcano in the middle of the night or whatever. You pull up the image and it was like, obviously volcano, you got the lava coming down. It's dark purple all around. So it was kind of eerie how accurate this was.
So you were actually seeing images in your mind that were completely consistent with what I later told you was an erupting volcano.
It seemed to be, yeah, especially since the word volcano popped into my head in the middle of the session, just kind of out of the blue. So it was a little weird.
So there's kind of two paranormal elements to this. One, that you got it right, you got a volcano, but also that you're seeing images where typically you do not see images in your mind.
Correct, yes.
But what's really interesting is that sometimes when you do meditations with me and we astrally project to different locations, different beings, you can see them as an image in your mind. Is that correct?
Yes, when we've done astral projections in the past, I've seen glimpses of like alien faces, or when we've done remote viewing to a target location, I've had like a general image of something that might be there.
Wow. So to me, this suggests that the sensory input you're getting during those remote viewings or remote communications, that is something that you don't typically receive in your everyday life. Is that correct?
Yes,
Actually, later in that session, you had us do like a NHI contact session, and that's when I actually received a very clear image, which was quite bizarre because that was even beyond what I had just experienced with that remote viewing session. So this was, you had us, guided us to, reach out to any NHI that would, benevolent NHI willing to communicate with us. So I did, did the meditation or whatever, and I thought I saw kind of the outline, the form of like a classic alien, gray type, whatever. That just kind of came and went. I was like, I don't know if that's real or not, but continue with the meditation. Like, is there a message that you have for me or whatever? And at that point, that sort of colory blob thing, there was a ill-defined sort of rough shape that showed up in my closed eye vision in the middle. So I could tell there was something there, but I couldn't tell the form, couldn't tell what it was. And so I basically asked, I was like, I can't tell what this is, ask for clarity. And it actually crystallized, it came very clear, almost like I was looking at like a black light artwork that was drawn on like black velvet canvas, very iridescent colored, and it was an image of a cluster of mushrooms, which at the time had very significant meaning to me because of something else that happened the year prior that was guiding me towards some like a spiritual development path. That clarity, that visualization has never happened before in my experience.
So not only did you get a clear vision of these mushrooms, it had personal meaning to you.
Yeah, it was quite eerie, quite interesting, and yeah, it led me to do more research and experimentation with remote viewing and things like that. But yeah.
So when your eyes are open, you've got information coming in through your eyes into your brain and you see images. When we do remote viewing or remote communication with different alien beings, you have a different type of information coming into your brain and giving you images. Is that correct?
yes,
Fantastic. And you've been able to see the faces of aliens fairly clearly at times.
yes,
That's really cool. So that's psychic vision, isn't it?
yes. I think it's really cool too.
And you attended one of my contact sessions just a couple of days ago, and during that session, did you get any imagery come into your mind?
Yeah, that was we were um, reaching out, I guess, to Arcturians or whatever, and I do see kind of the shape, the image, the form of face. I can see sort of it's like larger at the top, smaller at the bottom. I can see the eyes. I can see a mouth. I can see the chin, kind of presenting itself, and it phases through this like repeatedly. And so as I see it repeating, and I'm like now I'm like focused on it, concentrating on it. I'm like, is this thing changing? Is it staying the same? And it's pretty much staying the same. If anything, it's coming closer to me. But yeah, it's kind of it was a little surreal. It's not definitely something to note because it never really happened like that before. But
Wow.
it's kind of weird.
So it seems to me like this is pretty strong evidence for the idea that when we are remote viewing or remote communicating with different beings, you are receiving some kind of sensory input that you don't typically receive in your everyday life.
Yeah, absolutely.